Wake up, Lo-Fi Nation. It's 8 a.m. and a chilly but beautiful 59 degrees in New Orleans. You're listening to Lofi Poli Sci. Oh yeah, it's your Monday morning edition of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering, here to talk about that famous question, what's going on in the world today? And we'll get you that weekend box office report and your 5-day weather forecast for the week in just a minute. But for now, straight to it, the news, fresh off that press. And for our first one here, we're going to do some connecting of the dots. You see, last month we did a special episode on the conflict in Kashmir between India and Pakistan. And you should definitely go back to check out what's what in that conflict. But also, every week, one of our favorite segments, Talk in Jiminy. That's right, we talk about the world of cricket each week, or at least I ask you to tell me what the headlines mean because I don't speak sports. But sometimes, just sometimes, sports and politics, well, they most certainly mix in on this one. Today we're leading off with sports and politics and how they've been unfolding in India. Now, I'm pulling from several sources here because I want to make sure we see the what's the real what with all that's going on surrounding Indian police in Uttar Pradesh and other states around in India, arresting people for celebrating Pakistan's cricket victory over India in the T20 World Cup. And yes, before you even ask, we are serious. So we're pulling from the Washington Post, CNN, the BBC, and India Today. So just a couple of weeks ago, India and Pakistan were playing a cricket match for the T20 Cricket World Cup, and Pakistan won. And the BBC reported that 3 Kashmiri students were arrested for chanting pro-Pakistani and anti-Indian remarks and are being charged with promoting enmity and cyber terrorism. But this here didn't happen at the match, hence why there's some cyber terrorism charge in on that. This happened online afterward, and because of what the students posted on WhatsApp. They were suspended by their universities, and a few days later, arrested because of complaints from India's ruling party. And then a teacher in another state lost her job and was arrested for her post on WhatsApp. Same kind of deal as the students. And then some students and staff in the Indian-administered Kashmir were arrested for shouting pro-Pakistani slogans during the match. And all of this is coming from the BBC, but CNN backs it up, as well as does Washington Post. And they all further state that some Indians were also arrested for the same charges, basically supporting Pakistan's win in the cricket match. Now, India Today, a news magazine from India, well, they give the best details of the situation, and really I think this is rather illuminating on how police in some of these Indian states are getting away with this. So India Today backs up everything the other media outlets are saying, but tells us about what exactly the 3 Kashmiri students that were suspended from university and that are being charged and arrested for it. I'll just go ahead and quote them for this, all right? Begin quote. The students have been booked under IPC Section 153A, promoting enmity between different groups, 505(1)B, with intent to cause, or which is likely to cause, fear or alarm to the public, and Section 66F of the Information Technology Act, the police said. End quote. You see how vague, like really vague, those laws are? I mean, that's exactly the kind of laws and ambiguity that authoritarian regimes around the world use to silence the public. Not democracies. And here, Indian police, under the direction of the government, Hindu Nationalist Political Party, the BJP, they're using these laws to punish people who celebrated Pakistan's victory over India in a cricket match. This is sports and politics, and a perfect example of how India has been experiencing democratic backsliding since 2015. And that's backed up by my own research, and you can easily take a look at it for yourself. Go look at Freedom House and look at the data there. India's been democratic backsliding for the past 6 years. But I'll be keeping an eye for this one and for updates to see how this develops. Will other democracies kind of put a little pressure on India and say, hey, you're supposed to be the largest democracy by population on the earth? What are you doing here? Question mark. And you let us know if you hear something first, too, out there. Now let's head over to Northern Ireland, where things are getting complicated real fast. So we've talked about Brexit a good bit over the past year and a half that we've been up and running. We've talked about the continued argument over the border of Northern Ireland and how the UK wants to rework the deal and the EU not so much. We've also talked about the long history of the Troubles and the violence surrounding those borders. Well, Sunday evening, a bus was taken over by 4 men. Everyone was ordered to get off the bus, and the 4 men burned it. And this is the second bus burning in a week. Everyone is coming out against these attacks, but it seems no one is taking credit for them. And I am seeing lots of claims about what this means. And whilst I think some of them are likely true, but still, no one is taking credit for these bus burnings. Now, no one is being hurt. When these individuals get on the buses, they order the driver and all the passengers to get off. But still, 2 bus burnings in 1 week. Keep your eyes wide open on this one. As we said, things are getting complicated in Northern Ireland really fast. And we'll update you when we hear more, or you send us some words if you hear something first. Now let's switch gears a bit and lighten the mood and get you that weekend box office report. That's right. Our top 5 films at the U.S. box office were: number 5, Ron's Gone Wrong, taking in about $3.6 million this weekend. Number 4, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, still making bank in that top 5, earning another $4.4 million. Number 3, James Bond, No Time to Die, with an additional $6.1 million. Number 2, Dune, in its second weekend of release, took in $7.6 million. And coming in at number 1, for its opening weekend at the box office, Eternals, brought to you by Marvel Studios, raking in $71 million. Sheesh, Disney is rich again. Oh, let's be real. They never went poor just because a little global recession. They had that money stashed in the bank. And did you go out to the movies this weekend? What did you see? What'd you think of it? Write in. We want to know how your movie-going experience is. And I did just happen to make it back out to the cinema this weekend. I caught James Bond this time, and I went to an 11 a.m. showing. There were only 4 people in the entire theater. It was simply amazing. It was so lovely. Oh, and the movie was pretty good, too. No spoilers, but I will say this: a pretty good send-off for Daniel Craig's last James Bond movie. Now let's get back to that lo-fi global news, and to Iraq we go, where Saturday night in Baghdad, the Prime Minister's house was attacked by 3 drones. Now the Prime Minister is unharmed, but 6 security forces were wounded, and 2 of the drones were taken out by the security forces, but 1 actually hit the residence. And no one has claimed the attack, but the government, well, they're pointing toward the Iran-backed militia groups that are pretty angry about recent parliamentary elections that happened this past week and before, where the Iran-backed political party didn't do too good. And people, I cannot stress this enough of how big of a deal this is, that a prime minister's house was attacked by 3 drones. This is one of the leading government officials in the country. And we'll most certainly be watching this one, because this week, we're sure things will be happening in response to this event. Now, this next one, we're only going to mention it because we want you to get your attention to it and check it out yourself so we can come back and talk about it on Wednesday. But Nicaragua's presidential election was yesterday, Sunday, November 7th. We've talked about this and how President Daniel Ortega arrested basically everyone who was running against him. So look out for those results, and Wednesday, we're going to have ourselves a little discussion about what happened. And now it's time for that Metro New Orleans weather report, your 5-day weather, and what to expect traversing the city this week. And all week long, it will be beautiful and cold/cool, depending on your definition of cold. Monday through Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny with temperatures in the mid-70s to the low 60s. I can deal with this. But Friday, a drop in temperature, as it's partly cloudy with a chance of meatballs, right around 56%. A high of 69 degrees and a low of 52. Woo-hoo-hoo. Definitely getting chilly. Enjoy the weather this week, New Orleans. You know it'll be back to 90 degrees next week. And a last piece of news to send you on your way for the day. An update to Mafia trials in Italy. Oh yeah, we've talked about it in the past, how the Italian government is cracking down hardcore like on the 'Ndrangheta crime family, with over 355 people going on trial. And the first 70 have been convicted and sentenced. And that means only about another 285 people left, give or take, question mark? We'll update you more later on this one. I just wanted to give you a bit of a little sneak peek about an episode coming your way soon. And before we go to our question of the week last week, oh, and I love it. I'm not even going to say what it was because I thought while I was doing it that it was shit anyway. And from the complete lack of response I got, oh, I'm guessing you thought it was complete shit too, man. Well done, Lofi Poli Sci. Well done indeed. But our question of the week this week. Are you really going to come to our first live show? Question mark. Because it's coming sooner than you think. And that's your Monday morning edition of What's Going On in the World Today. Interested in writing into the show? Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, myself on LinkedIn. Email us, let your voice be heard. And check out this weekend's issue of Letters of the Lofi Poli Sci, where we wrote about U.S. political polarization. Hit me up to be added to the emailing list. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Peace and well-being to all my human beings out there. Much love and always the best. Pickering, signing off.